When Simon Cowell suddenly raises his hand and stops a soft-spoken Filipino teacher mid-audition, the entire theater freezes. No one expects what happens next. One risky song choice, one second chance, and a haunting cover of Creep that will leave America speechless. Stay with us until the end, because this is not just an audition. It is a story about courage, doubt, and a voice that refuses to be silenced. If you believe in underdogs chasing impossible dreams, hit subscribe now and join our growing family. The lights of the auditorium glow softly over a sea of restless faces. The camera pans across the packed crowd inside the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, home of America's biggest stage, America's Got Talent. Backstage, a quiet man in his early 30s adjusts the sleeves of his simple navy blazer. His name is Daniel Cruz, a high school English teacher from Cebu, Philippines. Thousands of miles away from home, he stands on the edge of a dream he has carried since childhood. Daniel is not what people expect when they hear the word performer. He is not flashy. He is not loud. He does not have a dramatic backstory filled with headlines. He is a teacher who spends his days grading essays and encouraging shy teenagers to believe in themselves. But tonight, he is the student, and the judges are about to decide his fate. The stage manager signals him forward. The doors open. The roar of the audience hits him like a wave. He walks out slowly, taking in the bright lights and the massive AGT logo behind him. He smiles nervously and raises a hand in greeting. At the judges' table sit familiar faces. Simon Cowell watches him carefully. Heidi Klum offers an encouraging smile. Sofia Vergara leans forward with curiosity. Howie Mandel studies Daniel with interest. Simon speaks first. "What is your name?" Daniel clears his throat. "My name is Daniel Cruz, sir." "Where are you from, Daniel?" "I'm from Cebu, Philippines, but I teach high school English back home." The audience applauds warmly. There is something instantly likable about him. Simon tilts his head slightly. A teacher. And why America's Got Talent? Daniel takes a deep breath. "I tell my students every day to chase their dreams. I realized I've been telling them to do something I was too afraid to do myself. So I promised them I would try. I told them I would stand on a big stage and sing." The crowd reacts with soft admiration. Heidi smiles wider. Simon nods slowly. "And what are you going to sing?" Daniel hesitates for a fraction of a second. "I'm going to sing Creep." There is a subtle murmur in the theater. Creep is a bold choice. A haunting, emotionally heavy song made famous by Radiohead. Simon raises an eyebrow. "That's a very big song. Good luck." The music begins softly. Daniel grips the microphone stand. His voice enters gently, almost trembling at first. "When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye." His tone is fragile, intimate. The audience quiets instantly. There is a sincerity in his voice that pulls people in. But halfway through the first verse, something happens. Daniel's nerves catch up to him. He misses a note. His pitch wavers. His breathing becomes shallow. The massive theater feels even bigger. Simon suddenly lifts his hand. "Stop." The music cuts off. The silence is sharp. Daniel freezes. The audience gasps lightly. His face drains of color. Simon leans into the microphone. "Daniel, this isn't working. It feels nervous. It feels small. This song needs conviction. Right now, I'm not feeling it." Daniel swallows hard. The weight of the moment presses down on him. Back home, his students are probably watching. His family gathered around a television. He imagines their hopeful faces. Sophia gently asks, "Are you okay?" Daniel nods quickly, though his eyes glisten slightly under the lights. Simon continues, "Look, you have a good voice. I can hear that. But you're holding back. This is a huge opportunity. If this is all you've got, it's not enough." The words sting. For a second, it looks like Daniel might simply thank the judges and walk off stage. But something shifts in his expression. A quiet determination replaces the fear. Simon notices. "Do you want to start again?" he asks. Daniel inhales deeply. "Yes, sir. Please. One more chance." The audience applauds softly, sensing a turning point. Simon nods. "Okay. But this time, forget we're here. Sing it like you mean it." The music restarts. Daniel closes his eyes. He no longer sees the judges. He no longer sees the massive crowd. He imagines his classroom back in Cebu. The chipped paint on the walls. The rows of wooden desks. The students who believed in him. When he begins again, his voice is different. It is steadier, stronger. The vulnerability is still there, but now it is laced with power. When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye. The theater becomes silent again, but this time the silence is charged. He leans into the lyrics. Every word feels personal. I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. His voice cracks slightly on the word creep, but instead of sounding weak, it sounds raw. Honest. Real. The camera cuts to Simon. His expression changes. His skepticism softens. Daniel moves into the pre-chorus. His voice builds gradually, like a storm gathering strength. By the time he reaches the chorus, something remarkable happens. He lets go. The notes soar across the auditorium, filling every corner. The timid teacher from Cebu disappears. In his place stands an artist unafraid to expose his soul. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. The audience erupts into cheers even before the song ends. But Daniel is not finished. As the instrumental break approaches, instead of playing it safe, he takes a risk. He strips the arrangement down, signaling subtly to the band. The music softens to just piano. He sings the final verse almost in a whisper, forcing the entire theater to lean in closer. The vulnerability returns, but now it feels intentional. She's running out again. Tears glisten in Heidi's eyes. Then comes the final chorus. The full band crashes back in. Daniel's voice rises higher than before, pushing beyond the original melody with subtle but powerful improvisations. The high note at the climax rings clear and unwavering. The audience jumps to its feet before the last chord fades. A standing ovation. Daniel stands there stunned, chest heaving, eyes wide. He did not expect this. Simon remains seated for a moment longer than the others, studying him. Then slowly, deliberately, he stands. The crowd grows even louder. Daniel covers his mouth with his hand, overwhelmed. When the cheers finally settle, Simon speaks. That was a completely different audition. The first time, you were a nervous teacher. The second time, you were an artist. That is why I stopped you. Because I knew there was something there. Daniel nods, unable to speak. Heidi adds, your voice has this beautiful pain in it. It felt so honest. Sophia says, you made me believe every word. Howie grins. That's what this show is about. Growth in real time. Simon leans forward. Daniel, you said you tell your students to chase their dreams. Tonight, you showed them exactly how it's done. The audience applauds again. Then comes the vote. Heidi says yes. Sophia says yes. Howie says absolutely yes. Simon pauses for dramatic effect. Daniel looks like he can barely breathe. Simon smiles faintly. It's a yes from me. The theater explodes with cheers. Daniel collapses to his knees, overcome with emotion. He looks up toward the ceiling, whispering a quiet thank you. Backstage, cameras capture him calling. His family in the Philippines, tears streaming down his face as he tells them he made it. But the twists are not over. In the days following the audition, the video goes viral across social media. American viewers are captivated by the moment Simon stopped him and the transformation that followed. Clips of the standing ovation flood timelines. Even his students in Cebu create their own reaction video, screaming with pride as their teacher hits the final high note. Yet with fame comes doubt. Before the next round, Daniel reads online comments. Some praise him. Others question whether he can repeat that performance. Was it just a lucky moment? Can a teacher really compete against seasoned performers? The pressure intensifies. Backstage before the next performance, Simon approaches him privately. Remember what happened last time, Simon says. Don't wait for someone to stop you. Start strong. Daniel nods. The lesson sinks in. When he returns to the stage for the live shows, he is no longer the timid man who needed a second chance. He walks out with quiet confidence. And this time, he doesn't need to be stopped. He begins with strength. The audience recognizes the growth instantly. The judges exchange knowing glances. From a nervous first verse to a breathtaking redemption, Daniel's journey becomes one of the most talked about auditions of the season. But perhaps the most powerful twist is not the standing ovation, not the viral fame, not even the yes votes. It is the moment weeks later when Daniel returns to his classroom in Cebu during a short break from the show. His students erupt in cheers. They hug him. They tell him they are auditioning for school plays, for debate competitions, for scholarships abroad. You showed us we can try, one student says. Daniel smiles softly. On the biggest stage in America, he discovered something simple yet profound. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is singing through it. It is asking for one more chance when the world tells you it's not enough. And sometimes, being stopped is exactly what pushes you forward. If this story inspired you, if you believe in second chances and hidden talent, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another unforgettable audition.